So in this video, I'm going to be showing you where Braulio is right now. So the videos that you watched in the previous parts, they were from the session number 8 that I did for Braulio, my client that was in the videos. And the session was around how to find multi-million dollar deals in your city. And that's not the first steps, but there are several steps before this that lead up to this point where you start looking for businesses that you want to buy. And the last few videos were mainly targeted around how to find these deals, how to establish contact with the owners, how to negotiate, how to structure deals. We went into that, the structuring part a little bit, not extensively. And what I'm about to show you now is the final session of the mentorship that my client attended with me. It's a one-on-one mentorship that he did with me, where I taught him how to build his company from scratch with little or no money, get into a position of having high-profile advisors from finance background, top financial advisors in the country, top legal advisors in the country with over 25, 30 plus years of experience, and top healthcare CEOs to advise him how to acquire these businesses and how to run these businesses. So I helped him accomplish that. He came to me with little or no money, and he ended up building a world-class team of advisors that currently advise him on how to do multi-million dollar deals. He did not have that as a possibility before he had attended this program with me. And now he's involved in doing multi-million dollar deals. Actually, his first transaction that he found was a $12 million deal that he worked on for several months. And this video that I'm about to show you now is a few months later after this session was conducted. So you can clearly see the effect of this session that it had on him. I want you to notice the demeanor, how his demeanor has changed, how his voice has changed, how the way he speaks and his level of enthusiasm and where he's sort of positioned within himself has shifted. Something has shifted. And you can clearly see that in this video, because this video is more a couple of months later than that video. So by this time, he had already seen the numbers. He had seen for himself that these multi-million dollar deals can happen for him, and it can happen starting with little or no money. He could build his advisors, and he could ultimately get in a position where he's finding himself now negotiating multi-million dollar deals. So that's the session, and I hope you enjoy it and watch it till the end. This is going to be a little bit longer video than the previous parts. I'm going to just put all the juicy bits of the session in this video so that you get a complete sneak peek of what's possible, and I want you to look at it from your own perspective, how this can be a reality in your life. Okay, look, I'm 28 years old. Okay, I come from very humble beginnings. I did not grow up with a lot of money, and I started this company with very little of my own capital. And I am currently now involved in doing multi-million dollar deals, and I have taught this entrepreneur who came to me and he had very little money, and I got him to a position of doing multi-million dollar deals and having these high profile advisors. So if I could do it and if he could do it, you can too. I just want you to see that for yourself, even if it's difficult or to picture that. While you're watching this, I want you to see this for yourself. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon and enjoy the video.
Hello, Pri. How are you?
I am doing very well, bro. How are you doing?
I'm perfect. I'm more than fine. I see that you are in your castle.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Bring it on.
How is it going? How are you?
I'm pushing hard. I'm really, really close to do my first deal. I'm taking care of all the details. I'm taking care of my energy. I'm taking care of uh, every single step of the QLA model in this meeting, this next meeting in the 23rd of February, where the major shareholders of this hospital in the north part of Mexico are flying to Mexico City to meet me and to meet some of my board members, my CEO, my CFO, my general counsel, and probably Gary Bennett, my chairman, could be there because he has to take care of other business in the city. So yeah, I'm visualizing this moment long time ago. every single aspect of this journey, of this experience, I have been visualizing and affirming and doing declarations. So I'm ready, I'm also ready. So actually yesterday, my CEO came here to Cancun to receive a special award because he appeared in the last edition of Forbes in Mexico. So I told him, I'm totally sure that we are going to close this deal. I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the situation in control because maybe the flight or the plane is delayed or something like that. But I'm ready. I'm ready to push hard. And if you are, I'm all in. So he was like, I'm all in with you. Let's do this deal. Let's close it. So I'm experiencing too that some of the board members, for my surprise, they are not used to this kind of deals. They're not used to this seller's finance. They're like blowing their mind at how. So are we going to purchase this hospital with their own money? Yes. So they're like, really? That's if I were the business owner, I will say no, Braulio. So I will like, okay, that's fine. But I love to hear that. I love to feel like this underdog feeling. I love that. So thank you for that insight, or thank you for that advice, because we're gonna close that deal with seller finance. I don't give a shit. So let's do it. So yeah, that's interesting because for my CEO, it's like, yeah, some guys are doubting. I know that in the bottom line of this, it's like they're not used to these kind of deals. Actually, my CEO is like, really? Are we gonna do that? Yes. So okay, I trust you. Let's do it. So yeah, it's actually one of the board member that was important CEO for one of the main banks in Mexico. He told me, if you achieve that, I will put a statue in the center of downtown in Mexico, because this is the first time I will be that I will be part of the solar fund. So that's how the things are going.
Well, that's leadership, bro, and that's exactly what you're doing. And it's a great. I'm proud of you that you are able to lead them like this, and able to hold your frame and tell them straight that this is how it's going to be done, and having the right attitude, not bad mouthing them or anything, but just keeping your calm and taking their advice and insight in the right spirit, and having them follow your lead. So that's great. I'm proud of you. keep pushing, and you're going to close the deal. And you're going to close it sooner than when I started and I would close, because I went the bank financing route, which is which will extend the QLA process at least 6 months if you go the bank financing route. If you go by the seller financing route, you would get it done in a week, 1 week, get it done. Dan Benya said he could do it in 36 hours, seller finance deal. It's because of the banks and their protocols and the presentations and the networking, the finding the right banker for the deal, and the equity concern, and the startup and the personal guarantee and all of these things, and negotiations, they take time. And then the loan documents, internal credit approval. So those kind of bureaucratic things that take time. Not to say that you cannot do that for second, third, fourth deal, or not to say that you cannot have 5, 6 deals at the same time running. Few of them can be seller finance, few of them can be bank finance. But the first one, do it seller finance. The QLA model is first 2 deals, you do seller finance. Or first one, you do 100% seller finance. Second one, you can do kind of like 80-20, 80% seller finance, 20% debt. And then, 60-40. And then from then on, you can do bank financing deals. The reason is that when you close a seller finance deal, and at least, let's say, 2 deals, then you have a track record, and you have some companies under your umbrella. So you have cash flow going on. You have something to show in your balance sheet. So that's what the QLA model is. And I have to admit, I decided that I'm just going to go the bank finance route. And it's time consuming. It's a bitch. So do it seller finance. And if not this one, another one. But I can see in your attitude and enthusiasm, you're going to get this one. So I wish you all the best for the meeting. Get the agreement. Remember, the carrot is that you will pay a higher price for their business, but it will be structured over a long period of time with a balloon payment, and you know the deal. I am today here for our final session to discuss with you how to do your first board meeting, which is one of the most important things in your project. And I'm recording the call, by the way. I want to make sure I tell you that. And I hope you don't mind me recording the call. Oh, okay. So the intention of today's call is to make sure that you have your first successful board meeting, and how you do your board meeting will dictate everything that happens in the company after that. And it's one of the most important documents in your company is going to be the shareholders agreement. So board meeting is just board meeting. You do the presentation, you present the deal, and you get the approval for the deal. It's not something complicated. But before the board meeting, there's going to be a shareholders meeting. Okay, and I will create a distinction between shareholders and board. What is that? Okay, so we'll start with the top. First, there's going to be your company, okay, the holding company. And then there's going to be an SPV, okay. And then there's going to be an operating company. And then there's going to be the hospital. I'll show you a quick diagram of this so that you can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So this is the structure of the transaction, Braulio. This is the structure that I was proposed by my lawyer. And this is the structure many QLA mentees follow. but this is not the only structure possible. So I want you to really make a note of that, that this is not the only structure that you can follow. And maybe it won't be the structure that you would follow in Mexico, because each country's law is different. Each jurisdiction is different. Do what the lawyers tell you to do, okay, on your board. Like have them have the final word on this, okay? But I'm giving you, this is an example, all right? I want you to look at this as an example. So typically speaking, there's going to be your holding company here. And typically holding company don't have an operating function in the entity. So you will form a separate company which will be responsible for operations. All right. And then you will have an SPV, which is a special purpose vehicle. And then you'll have the hospital that you're acquiring. This is the typical structure. Okay. Now, you and the board are here at the top. It's also known as a top co. This is a company that you will follow before you acquire each company. The reason is, once you have 10 entities, let's say one of them goes bad, you could just remove this from your portfolio and the holding company remains virgin. So if there is any bad debt, for example, or anything like that, it will be here. The debt is going to be sitting here. Any financing, even equity, is going to be sitting here. It's not going to be here. This is you and the shareholders, safe. If you have any investor, it can come here with the bank. All the loan documents will be signed here. Again, this is a possible structure. This added layer is going to provide safety to this holding company. Because if this owns directly this, then you have you will contaminate all the other projects. So that's why you have the SPV. It's a special purpose vehicle. So that's again, speak to your lawyers, consult your lawyers, and come up with the structure. But this is the structure we are following. Okay. Then we have OpCo, which is operating company, and this provides services to clinic here, the hospital, and this charges management fees to the hospital. So you can pay yourself a salary through OpCo. Okay. Once the loan is repaid, then all the dividends of the hospital, the profits of the hospital, you can flow it up into the holding company here and gather it here. So now what happens is this starts to accumulate cash. And then you can use this as equity in future deals. And you can use this to buy out any shareholders that you might have, or legal fees, or acquire other companies. Over time, you want to increase this pool of capital here. And through the OpCo, you want to pay yourself a salary. Okay. This is a possible structure. Again, I'm repeating myself, I know, but this is the structure we are following. I don't know if this is going to work in Mexico. You have your legal advisors who will tell you exactly how to structure the transaction, how do you get paid yourself only, because you're the only executive, and maybe it will be the CFO or a CEO, depending on who you hire. How the structuring of that happens legally, your legal director will consult. Okay. We will talk now about this. This is where the beehive is, okay? And you are the queen bee or the king bee, okay? Here is what the board meeting will have, okay? It's going to have signing of the documents. It will be introduction of the board, and there will be presentation of the entire vision, the project, Phoenix Holding, and then there's going to be deal approval. Okay.
The presentation is about the
Yes.
pipeline or the targets in the pipeline or the next deals.
Both. It's going to be the vision of your company. What is Phoenix Holdings? Why Phoenix Holdings? What is the purpose of the company? How many acquisitions are you going to do? The big picture presentation. Okay. And then there's going to be pipeline, discussion on the pipeline, and then there's going to be deal approval on the first deal, for example.
Okay.
All right. Now, there's an added spice to the signing of the documents, which I will cover. This is the most critical part. Okay. This is a very critical part. How you do this and how, in what fact pattern you do this will dictate whether you get thrown out or not from the board. Okay. And if you don't do this right, there is a chance where you can get thrown out of the board. Okay. I want you to be very, very aware of that. My role here on this call is to protect that from happening. And I'll tell you the way to do it so that it's going to be bulletproof and that'll never happen. But if you don't do this right, that can happen. And Dan Binya covered this very extensively, how to do it. Okay. The documents are going to be mainly shareholders agreement, and maybe you will get into a director service agreement. We will see. But it's mainly going to be shareholders agreement. So let me create a distinction between the shareholders and the directors. Okay. So shareholders are the owners of the company. Okay, you are a shareholder. There are other who are minor owners of the company. And then there are directors, which represent the ownership of the shareholders. They are not the same. In our scenario, the shareholders and the directors are the same. But in actuality, they are not the same. They're two different things. They're two different positions. A person can be a shareholder of a company and have a different director representing his ownership. For example, I can hold 15% in a public company or in any company, and I might have, for example, my CFO that is the director of that company, and I don't go there. I'm on Bahamas or Monaco, and I send my CFO and he represents my interests. So he's the director and I'm the shareholder. The shareholders are the one with power. Okay. And they are the ones who control the board. And guess who is the major shareholder in your company? It's you.
I am.
And you are going to be the one who's going to have the most power if you structure the shareholders in the right manner. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because this will dictate how much power you have, whether you get thrown out or not, if someone threatens you, what to do, and what are the levels of power you will have, and what to do. So I want to offer the maximum protection to your position. And I want to make sure that you have the maximum share at the exit, maximum equity position, and maximum power and maximum decision-making power. And I want to make sure that if you don't like someone, you can remove them with minimum consequence. Okay. So there are some interesting dynamics that are going to happen at this point. You need to know your position and you need to do this right, because I faced with a challenge and I handled it. And I was deviating from what Dan said, because when you're under pressure, it can happen. Okay. And I was under pressure and I was fucking it up. I knew what I should be doing intellectually, but emotionally, I was fucking it up. So be careful if you don't do this right. And I got saved because one of my shareholders sat down with me on the call and he told me, the future of your company is going to be different. You need to take a decision. Don't do this, what you're doing. And he was advising me in line with what Mr. Pena advised. And I was deviating from that. And he said, don't do this, come back. And he convinced me out of it. And I did what the right thing, and I have the maximum power. So I want to make sure you do the same. And I will tell you how to deal with if there are any concerns. For me, okay, I'll cover it. For me, out of 8 people, 7 people agreed. And there was one person who came up with some issues. And that was, that became a hiccup. Okay, so I'll tell you how to deal with it, and I'll tell you what the hiccups are and how to mitigate that. Okay.
Hey, quick question. How big does the QLA model recommend or suggest? How big should be the board of directors? I'm hearing that your board is 9 people with you or 8 people with you.
Mine is 8 people with me. So it was actually 6 people agreed, and then one person was, proposing some things that will dilute my power. It won't dilute my equity position, but it will dilute my power.
Okay, is there any suggestion for how big should be the board of directors? Because now I have it's not the problem, but I have to start making decisions because I have to remove some couple of board members because we are like more than 15. So I'm thinking maybe we can talk about this later, but I'm thinking to have a board of directors and have the advisory board too. So I can separate the board of directors from the advisory board, because I know that we are a lot of people because we start like that, and actually you and I talk about it. But now I'm feeling that some of those people they don't have the right fit. So I will remove some of them, and other ones maybe I put them like in advisory boards.
Yeah. You are the one who will judge this better because you know who's performing and who's not.
Yeah.
If they don't pick up your calls or show up or are very flaky, they commit to meetings, they don't come, they're not that committed, and either that or they're not that valuable to the company or something like that. You know who they are. Just remove them and keep the major players. Look at their CVs as well before you do that, because sometimes you have not fully realized the value of a shareholder because you don't speak to them. So consider all those factors and make a decision. 15 is a very big board, but you could have, let's say, like 9 people plus advisory or 8 people plus advisory. The number doesn't matter so much, but the good thing is that you have replacements. So that's always good because few of them fall off. It's a good news. You can just keep going without having to worry about finding board members. And that's the reason why I built a large board. Anelli, who has built up a portfolio of $350 million valuation, and he has a board of, I think, 4 or 5 people. Okay, so my board, even though we are 8 people, is still considered large. Right? But I have the repetitive roles. I have one person, two people finance, two legal, and two healthcare. So make a decision. I leave that to you. Um, and I will now cover the elements of the most important document, which will dictate how much power you will have, and how, as the company evolves, who's the king of the right kingdom. So,
Hey, can I have this presentation later?
oh yes, you can.
All right, all right.
So I hope you enjoyed the video and you got inspired by it. I have a proposal for you. If you are someone who wants to get into a position just like Braulio, who had little or nothing, and now he's in a position of doing multi-million dollar deals. If you are someone who wants to get into a position of doing multi-million dollar deals, starting with little or no money. By multi-million dollar deals, I mean buying multi-million dollar businesses. In fact, buying majority stake in a multi-million dollar business, not just one business, but several businesses, and build a portfolio over time to ultimately exit and make a bunch of money. If you are interested in that, then I have a proposal for you. I have a mentorship program where I train entrepreneurs one-on-one in this model, in this business model. This is something that I have discovered after paying over 40,000 pounds in mentorship. And I have applied it. I have gotten to a position where I have negotiated and worked on a $3 million transaction, a $10 million transaction, a $2 million transaction, a $25 million transaction, a $120 million transaction. I have worked on these deals. I have gotten into a position where I can meet the decision makers of these companies and sit down and have a conversation about acquisitions, business acquisitions. And I have trained this entrepreneur that you saw, Braulio, in doing that. What you just saw was the final session where he got trained in finding deals. He found a deal, and now he has, several individuals as advisors who are training him. They are almost twice his age, and he's really in a very powerful position. And when he had come, he had nothing. And this happened over a period of few months. And this happened to me also in over a few months. So if you want to execute this, if you want to apply this in your life, I have a proposal that you can message me on Instagram and set up a free consultation call. On this free consultation call, we will discover what you want, what your goals are, and how we can accomplish it, and how you can implement this model in your country, in your city. So I know this works in US, London, UK, Canada. Uh, I have trained another entrepreneur to do this in India. I have trained Braulio, who is from Mexico City. So it not only works in places like United States and UK, but it also works in the third world countries. It depends where you are. So if you're interested, reach out to me, send me a message. I'm going to put the link somewhere down below of my Facebook and my Instagram. And you can write me a message there, and you can refer to this video. And if you are serious, we will set up a free consultation call. Now, I cannot work with everybody because of my time. My time only allows me to work with over 3 to 4 individuals in a 3 to 6 month period. So within 6 months, I can only work with 3 to 4 people. And, those positions can get filled pretty fast. So I urge you, if you're someone who wants to execute this, who wants to learn this, and who wants to implement this, then reach out to me. Now, here is the deal. I do not schedule when we are doing a mentorship program and we are doing sessions. You will go through session number 1. And until you execute everything from that session number 1, we don't go to session number 2. And until you execute everything that is to be done in session number 2, we don't go to session number 3. So this is the reason why mentorships can last between 3 to 6 months. And in some cases, even 9 months. Because I really don't want to leave anybody behind. When I work with someone, I want to make sure that I get them across. Now, you have to be serious because I don't work with non-serious people. So you have to make sure that you execute the steps. You have to make sure that you're serious about this, and you have to make sure that you make sacrifices. This is not for everybody. This is for only few select people who I call are winners in life. And winners give up a lot to win. You look at Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan, they give up almost everything to be exceptional in their fields. And that is not for everybody. So if you consider yourself to be one of them, and if you consider yourself, and even if you want to be like one of them, then this can be for you. So reach out to me, send me a message. Let's set up the free consultation call, and let's see if we can move forward working together over 3 to 6 months period of time, where I will tell you exactly how to build a team of highly experienced, high-profile advisors that will advise you on how to run your company and how to analyze multi-million-dollar deals. And these are going to be your board of directors. If you heard in the videos, Braulio was referring to COO, CEO, CFO. So these are technical terms. Don't get worried about them. You will learn everything about them. Now, he did not have anybody when he was starting off. He was just a one-man army, and he had nothing. He just had a PowerPoint presentation. And just from that, he built a team of 15 advisors without paying them in cash. You do have to pay them in equity in your company, shares in your company, but that's okay. You're not paying anything from your cash. And shares just mean that once the company is successful, then they will receive the money. So I will tell you exactly how to do that. That's a preliminary step to doing multi-million-dollar deals. Once you have done that, opportunities just open up. Why? Because any door you knock, you have all these high-profile names in your company, and people want to talk to you. People want to do business with you. People want to take meetings with you. So that's an essential step. You will have, just to give a background, if you execute the steps properly, you will have one of the top lawyers in the country who is retired advising you with 25 to 30 years of experience. This man will be from one of the top international law firms in the world. I will help you get in touch with this person in your country. And he will advise you on all the legal matters in your company. Then you will have a similar profile, again, top international, finance expert on your team, top international accounting expert in your country. You will have, as your advisor, and you will have top, CEOs of major healthcare companies or several, healthcare clinics or hospitals, major CEOs of these companies to be also part of your company. And they will mentor you from all different angles. You will have all the experience you need on the board to help you execute this. You do not personally have to have experience. You can leverage these people's experience. And this is the reason why you build a team. Because something of this nature requires a lot of experience. It needs experience in finance, legal, it will need experience in operations, and you will put all those pieces together to rely on their experience and leverage their track record to open up opportunities. So this is will be the preliminary step. I will help you get in touch with major banks in your country. So all the major banks that provide lending, provide financing for doing deals. You will be learning how to get in touch with the right people in the banks, because banking is a very bureaucratic organization. It has any banks has over 1,000 employees. So how do you know you're talking to the right person? So I'll help you get at the top. One of the senior executives in the banks, how to do meetings with them, how to interview with them, how to negotiate with them. I will cover all of that. I will cover how to find acquisition candidates, which is multi-million-dollar businesses in your city, in your country, just with using your phone. You saw that in the last few sessions. And ultimately, I will tell you how to negotiate purchase price of these businesses, negotiate with them, come to an agreement on the price, and how to finance these deals. There are several ways of financing. You would be surprised that exist. And once you understand these ways of financing, you will almost never use your own money to do business. You will always use other people's money. So I will teach you how to do that, and I'll ultimately position you in the best possible way where you will have access to these high-profile individuals, multi-million-dollar deals, senior bankers. If you do it right, you will be doing over, couple of hundred presentations. Imagine the transformation that will happen to you over a couple of hundred presentations. And imagine what you would learn from these individuals, these sort of mentors, these army of mentors that will be around you, protecting you. And you would really find yourself in a very powerful leadership role. I'm in that position. Braulio is in that position. I'm not teaching you something that I have not done. It's something that I'm doing right now. So I walk the talk, and people around me know that. So that's in essence what you will learn in the mentorship program. And this pre-consultation call is just to understand if this is right for you or not. I only work with serious people. So I just want that. I want to make sure that when you reach out to me, make sure you're serious about this and you're seriously considering moving forward. And then we can have the call and, hopefully we can move forward. But remember, I can only work with 3 to 4 people given the time that I have to give to my business. I do the same thing. So it requires a lot of time. So I can only take 3 to 4 people. If you are one of them, reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or email. I'm going to leave the links for all of them. I'll talk to you soon.